Cool. So did you, let's see, last time we left off, we were going to do, you were going to finish up the conclusion, right? On the essay that, yeah.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to work on it at all?
No, well, no.
Okay. And did you think about it much, or? I know you've been pretty busy.
Not really.
Okay, no worries. I just thought maybe you had questions that came up. Cool, I'll pull it up and we can take a look at it. Oh yeah, now I remember. Okay. Great. I'm going to share my screen and let's take a look. So I remember we were working on this introduction sentence.
Yes.
And we were having a lot of trouble with it. So we just thought, like, let's take a break. Maybe here's what we'll do. We'll like read out the intro and then step into it again and see if over the past couple of days things have become easier.
Okay.
Students hate homework, but it has short and long-term benefits in our performance at school and our learning abilities. Repetitive practice is the easiest way to save information in our brain, and exercises like homework are the best way to blank. These are the reasons why I disagree with the statement. Any thoughts hearing it?
I thought about it's the best way to keep progressing, but I know that progressing, it's not the right word.
I feel like that's getting there. Like that's better. It wouldn't be progressing, it would be progress, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still feel like maybe that's not quite right?
I don't know. I feel like progress is a word that's more about like social progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's one of those words that it could kind of fit here in some ways, but I think it's just not quite right. So
become better.
What's that?
To become better.
Okay. Let's try that one.
Or how do you say when you are an expert?
There's a few ways to say it. Like, I mean, you could say become an expert. You could say we can master something.
Master. Yes.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So then what would be best way to master what?
The activity.
Okay. I would maybe, if we're gonna go this route, I would maybe think of using a different word here, using an. Yeah. Because when we, again, like this, the is really, it's singular. Great. Yeah. How does that feel?
Better.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And I think that this would need to be plural, right? This, because that would be great if everyone had just one brain. That's kind of what the internet is, I guess.
Yes.
Cool. And then another thing that jumped out at me when I was reading this is that this sentence, the subject of the sentence are students, right? But then you bring in, it like switches points of view. We have our performance and our learning ability.
It's because the previous part, the previous clause was a different one.
That's
but,
right. Yeah. So we changed that previous clause and then didn't change
the rest.
Yeah. Great. So what would we?
Their performance.
Their performance and their learning. Great. How do you feel about the introduction now? Do you think that it needs a little more? Do you think that sentence we added was enough?
Yes, I think it's much better.
Okay. I'm trying to remove the highlighting and I forgot how.
Oh, there.
Cool. Yeah, I think that, you know, again, like we were talking about last time on Tuesday, we can definitely improve these. Like we could spend a lot of time really getting them to feel super, super great. And I think that would be a good exercise to do in the future, like we were doing when we first started working together. But I really like the rhythm we have where we get you more practice just writing and doing quick edits.
Yes.
So let's do another quick read through of the rest of it. I don't remember where we left the conclusion, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Do you want to read this paragraph and then I'll take the next one?
Yes. In class, there are multiple students with different skills and backgrounds. Everyone has their own way of seeing things and learning from them. A professor cannot always explain all the themes of the day in these different learning styles. This is why homework is a great option and practice. It helps you with two main things: identifying questions and practicing the topic to become better. When I was learning English, my teacher used to give me homework like studying grammar rules, memorizing verbs, or even practice exercises. It helped me develop a more accurate pronunciation and gain a richer vocabulary. Also, I was able to identify where I was struggling and what I needed to keep practicing.
Another reason why homework is an important part of learning is because it also helps to reinforce the topics that were taught that day. Practicing helps the brain to keep information fresh and have easier access to it, improving performance at school. Students' brains are more organized and therefore their exam grades are higher. At high school, I noticed that my grades were dropping, so I started practicing at home and asked my professor for office hours to ask about past topics. All these efforts helped me to improve my academic development. I got higher grades in the class and helped other students to improve theirs. As students, oh, go ahead.
As students, we all have avoided homework more than one time, but it has an important role in learning. It helps students to identify opportunities on time to solve them as quickly as possible. It's the easiest way to reinforce what was seen in class and improves our academic development to have a stress-free life.
Okay. Great. Before we, I guess I'll ask first, like, did anything jump out to you while we reread that?
And improves our academic, like.
This year?
Yes.
What jumped out to you about that?
It's I'm talking like it helps students to identify opportunities, and then I change again to
Yeah.
improves our academic development.
So what should we do here?
Their academic development.
Yeah, and there was another point of view thing I wanted to talk about right here. Because the first, this is all what person is this? First, second, third?
Third person.
Yeah. And then
Second person.
and then we go second, and then
First.
first. So I think it's totally okay to jump, especially when you're talking about something more broad, and then you're going into these specific examples that you've had. I think we could maybe switch the point of view on this one, right? So it's only 2 different points of view rather than 3 in one paragraph.
Yes.
How would you like to go about doing that?
Could it be it helps with 2 main things without you?
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Cool. And then there was
Oh, give me just a second.
yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, just a few other little things that jumped out to me before we talk about the conclusion. I might choose a different connecting word here. It's just a little clunky, like with this.
Yes.
Do you have thoughts of what to put there?
And practice exercises.
Yeah, I think so. The even is like, I don't know, it's making a comparison that I don't think you need to make.
Yes.
Between in this list. Great. And then these are just kind of little common phrases that I think saying more than once would be better than more than one time.
Okay.
And then here, I think that switching the 2 words would be a good choice.
We have all avoid.
Yeah. And those, that's it doesn't change the meaning. It's just like one is a little more formal, I guess. And I think that having having the subject and the verb closer together is better.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. So last, let's take a quick look at this conclusion. What do you think about it?
I think it's missing this last sentence that it's the real closure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know, you have these two sentences that you have here are really great. You touch on what you've talked about here in the body paragraphs, and I agree that we just need a little something to like tie it up.
Yes.
What do you think?
If I talk about like, instead of taking away homework, no, I think I'm making it more complicated.
Mhm.
The right amount of homework could make your life easier.
Mhm.
No, because I'm talking about stress-free life.
Yeah, how can we tie it back to this statement that you're agreeing or disagreeing with? Right, because that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to like end this essay with a declaration from you that's like a clear point of, you know, that says something like, because of these things, I disagree, but that says it in a better way than that,
Yes.
because that's too easy.
Yes. Something like, as mentioned before, my experience had taught me that homework isn't a bad idea, as we may think.
My experience had or has?
Has taught me that
Homework is not.
as bad as we think.
How does that look to you?
I think I feel it in a negative, I forgot the word, connotation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking like, maybe, as mentioned before, my experience has taught me that homework
Mm.
or is it too obvious if I write something like that schools should assign homework?
I don't think so. Schools should assign homework. Were you thinking of taking this sentence away?
No, like an extra sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. I think this is getting more at what I was talking about with kind of like expressing your disagreement of the statement, but in a more dynamic way.
Okay.
What I might recommend is just tying this sentence in, tying these two together. Because as it stands now, this is sort of it's a really abrupt ending, right?
Okay.
I think
What
it's a
about,
short
like,
ending.
as mentioned before, my experience has taught me that homework should be assigned.
Where?
By schools.
Great. How does that feel?
Better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it may be better, instead of saying, as mentioned before, to say like something like, as I demonstrated in this essay, or something, along those lines, to be like a little more clear about what, because before is kind of vague, right?
Could it be as explained in the previous paragraphs?
Yeah, I feel like that's better. How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's a better ending sentence.
Yeah, yeah, it satisfies, that, like we've talked about, where the TOEFL kind of wants like this, you to be so guiding, like firstly, secondly, and finally. So I think it has that feeling to it, but it is a more dynamic way to write. Yeah, so with this essay, I'm feeling like there's more work we could do on it. We could tear it apart, massage it, rewrite it. But I think it's at a really good place to feel proud of and set it aside, and then move to a new one. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I feel like it's better than before.
Yeah.
And also, I think it was a great exercise to practice with a statement where I'm neutral.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Like,
yes.
Because as you're writing about it, like when I do that, I'll be writing about it, and then this other voice will come in and start like arguing.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. I really like this. So we have about 30 minutes left. I know we had talked last class period about doing another 30-minute essay prompt like this. How do you feel about doing that, and maybe like going a little bit into time outside of class, like an extra 5? And then probably what we'll do is I'll set the timer for 30 minutes. And then whenever that ends, we'll just end class there and talk about what you wrote on Tuesday.
Okay, yes.
So do you still have that list of?
Yes.
Okay.
My very long list.
Yeah. We're moving through them quick. It's great.
yes.
This is what, like, was this the 5th? Agree,
2.
disagree essay?
Yes, the 5th.
Awesome.
I have. It's okay for companies to collect information on us. Only people who earn a lot of money are successful. personality is more important than beauty. Mobile phones should only be for the over 16s. A person's childhood year are the most important years of a person's life. And female leaders are better than male leaders. And psychological manipulation should be punished.
Okay.
Mm,
So I have one that I would like you to write about, but I'm curious if there were any there that you feel drawn toward.
I'm not sure, like some of them I think are very controversial and difficult.
Hard too.
Yes, it's difficult to have a posture, but will be great to try.
Yeah. The one that I was thinking was the very first one, that it's okay for companies to, I forgot the exact wording.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the wording? It's okay for companies to
collect information on us.
I had thought that might be a good one, because what I'm hoping for this time is to really challenge you to see if you can finish the whole thing in 30 minutes. And I felt like that one, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that one, given your interests and kind of the field that you're in, like you probably have a lot to say about that, right? And you probably have like a clear, you fall on one side or the other, right?
No.
No.
I don't know. I feel like as a marketing person, it's great to collect information, but as a person, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can try it. Like I can choose one of them.
Yeah.
And write as many things.
I say choose one of them. Yeah. And I would just like, you pick whichever one you're feeling, but I would say that sometimes it is easier to write when we're writing from our hearts, right? Rather than like writing from our job.
Yes.
But whichever one you want to go, if you want to challenge yourself or if you're feeling drawn towards one. I would challenge you to see if you can get introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And we've talked about a few strategies for moving through blocks. I do think that, like, don't worry about making mistakes on this one. I think like what I think is more important this time is to get it all down. If you run across something you don't know how to say, or you feel like, oh, maybe I didn't say that quite right, just move on. We'll get to that when we talk about it.
Okay. Yes.
So, cool. And I have my own writing homework here that I'm going to do with you, so I'll be here. Do you have any questions before I set the timer?
No.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna hit 30 minutes and then I'll let you know when it's done, and we'll just do a quick check-in and finish up for tonight.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Great.